Today I want to talk to you about something really important to me, something I'm very passionate about, and I've been passionate about for a lot of years. And I want to start with one of my favorite Yiddish lullabies, as if I know lots of Yiddish lullabies. There's this rabbi, and he's teaching a bunch of Yiddish children the alphabet. And so he goes through and he teaches them each letter and teaches them how to pronounce them and so forth and how to write them. And then at the very end of the lesson, this rabbi, he says something very deep and very profound, as if a bunch of 5-year-olds would understand the gravity of what he was about to say. He said, "When you grow up, you will come to find how much pain and how many tears these letters can contain, and joy and majesty." And so that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the power of words. Our whole lives are made up entirely of words. Our whole existence, our experiences throughout humanity contain words, especially in our current age, whether text message, email, literature, film, the conversations we're having with people that we care about, the little chat we have with strangers. It's all words. And so we have an immense opportunity to benefit from these words, to spread these words, and to have our words really make an impact upon those we come in contact with. I'm extremely passionate about words. I love the way they sound. I love reading them. I love hearing them. I love music. I love talking with people. Words are my life. I'm a logophile, means I love words. But I get to thinking, and I get a little nervous sometimes, a little apprehensive, thinking, are my words really being utilized in the best way possible? Am I really using the words I know to better humanity in some way? And I realize most everyone here isn't a writer. They don't express themselves through the written word like I do. And not everyone is a pillar of the community or a media mogul. And so how can our words really make a difference? So I want to talk about a few things that we can do to make our words have a greater impact. And the first one is what I call ridding my vernacular of overused words. And what I do is I realize that there are so many words that I use every single day in certain situations, certain phrases, certain sentences that I use just very habitually. I do it almost without thinking. You know, I go up, I see someone, I say, "How you doing?" without even wondering how they are doing or waiting for their response. I'm just saying, "How you doing?" because it's what I'm used to saying. And there are certain adjectives I use to describe things, like cool or nice or legit or whatever. These are words that I find myself using so much, and I become disturbed with my own vocabulary. I become annoyed, and I feel like when I do this, when I limit my vocabulary and continue to use overused phrases and cliche sentences and completely tired platitudes, I realize that I'm not taking advantage of the English language. I'm offending the vastness and the beauty of the English language. And so what I've tried to do, I've tried to rid my vernacular, my everyday vocabulary, of words that I'm so used to saying. Because our speech, the way we communicate, it's very habitual. Everything we do is kind of what we've always done. And it's very difficult to just all of a sudden change the way we speak. But what I've started to do is make a conscious effort to realize what words I'm using on a consistent basis and what words I'm frequently using, they really have no meaning at all. Like I said before, words like whatever, or words like nice, or legit, or cool, they're kind of descriptive words, but not really. And the other thing I've been trying to do to make my words have more power and more weight is completely transform my vocabulary. I got this idea from a famous author and motivational speaker, Tony Robinson. And he's famous for his motivational speeches and his uplifting talks, and he's got TV shows and websites and podcasts. He's got it all. But he talks about something very important called transformational vocabulary. And he talks about how our whole lives can change just by changing the words we use. And he used an example of a frustrated person at the workplace. He said, now let's think about this. And we all probably have jobs, or if not, I hope we plan to get one soon. So we all understand the workplace a little bit. Working for somebody else can be very difficult. And so Tony Robinson posed this question. He said, let's say something terrible happened at work, or something terrible is happening, and you're upset with your boss. There's a conflict with your boss, and so every day you go home and you talk to a loved one or you talk to a friend, and what do? You express this disgruntled feeling you have, right? But how does it usually come out? It usually comes out, I can't stand my stupid boss, I can't believe he's such an idiot, and this, and all it is negative words. But Tony Robinson said, what if instead of saying, I hate my boss, I can't believe he's doing this, and he won't let me do this, what if I came home and said, I'm confused at the situation, I'm frustrated, but what can I do to change that? And to me, it sounds so simple, but it's something we all struggle with. It's something that is very difficult to actually put into practice, transformational vocabulary. When something is going terrible in our lives, we want to articulate that. We want to complain, we want to vent, we want to make our problems known, but does that really help? That doesn't mean we need to just completely lie and say, I love my boss, he's great, he's my favorite, he's a beautiful human being. You can tell the truth, but continually complaining and saying negative words to describe things is going to put that thought in your brain that it's hopeless, or that thought in your brain that things are maybe worse than they really are. And so this idea of transformational vocabulary is something I've tried to implement into my own life. Something that I remembered when I learned about this concept was something that I did in high school. And I think all of us do this at times, but if we can implement it more into our lives, we'd be so much better off. I remember in high school I played basketball, and at the end of practices, it was almost always an inevitability that we were going to run a disturbing amount. And we were going to run until somebody threw up or the coach's sadistic minds were at rest, whatever it was. And so I just dreaded the end of practice. I had fun during practice, I love basketball, but every single day, I was like, oh my gosh, we're just going to run so much. It's going to be terrible. But then one day, I don't know where this thought came from, but I decided to just flip the way I was thinking and say to myself, I'm excited to run. I'm excited to run. I can't wait till the end of practice when I can do my sprints and get in better shape or whatever. And it was ridiculous because I wasn't excited about it. But what it was transformational vocabulary and transformational thought process. Because I told myself I was excited and told myself that it wasn't such a negative thing, it became a positive thing. And I actually started to enjoy that. So I hope we can understand that there's so many things in our lives that are unpleasant, that we don't enjoy doing, and that doesn't mean we need to lie and just start telling people that we do enjoy doing it. But if we can transform the words we use to describe what we're doing and how we feel about things, our emotional health will improve greatly. And one other thing I think about when I think about the power of words is completely ridding my vocabulary of negative phraseology. And this kind of goes hand in hand with the transformational vocabulary. But how many times when we're speaking are we doing one of the following things? Either complaining, talking badly about somebody else, or gossiping. How often are we doing this? Maybe just take a little self-assessment. I'm sure I do it far more than I'm preaching I should. But the point is, I feel like sometimes our speech is going to waste. We have this beautiful gift to be able to talk and communicate with each other. And now in 2015, it's easier than ever. We can talk to people all across the globe within a split second. We have text messaging, email, Facebook, endless social media outlets. We can go watch people speak on YouTube. We can read talks from church leaders, from dead presidents. Whatever we want, it's all at our fingertips. And so talking and words are more prevalent than they've ever been before. And so anything we have negative to say becomes much more available to the world. It becomes much more exposed. And so we see that now, more so than ever, our words carry more weight because they can be posted online. They can be shared instantly with a neighbor, with a friend. Gossiping is way more easier than it has ever been before because something can spread very quickly like this. But it all starts with our words. And to conclude, I want to talk about something that upset me a little bit. A few weeks ago, I posted a blog post a little bit about this topic of words and their influence, and it was titled Friendship and Words. And I kind of talked about the importance of friends and uplifting them and using positive reinforcements with your friends and using good energy. And somebody commented on my blog, somebody actually close to me, and they said, well, actions speak louder than words. And that got me thinking. And the truth is, actions are stronger than words. We can kind of hide behind the anonymity of the internet and other things. And so our words maybe aren't as powerful as actions. But what I want to tell you today is that words are actions. Anytime we're speaking, anytime we're communicating with somebody, maybe it's just an email, maybe it's just a hello, these words become an action. And so yes, actions do speak louder than words, but let us not confuse that words in and of themselves are an action. So if we can remember anything, it's that our words carry an immense weight that we may never fully realize. I remember when I was a little kid, maybe 10 or 12 years old, my parents were having a stern chat with my older sister. She must have done something stupid. But I remember my dad took her aside, and I wasn't involved in the conversation, but I was in earshot, and my dad told her about the principle of unconditional love. And I remember how much those words have stayed with me over the years, and how that simple life lesson, those simple words he took the time to explain to my sister when I probably wasn't even supposed to be listening, how 15, 20 years later they're still with me. And I think we all understand and realize, but sometimes forget, that our words can resonate with people for generations. And so I just want to end with one of my favorite sayings by Eli Wiesel. He says, "Let all our words lean towards the sacred." Thank you.